Welcome to Innergetics with Kim and Veronica, where we invite you to nourish the energy of your inner why, your inner healing, magic, prosperity, your curiosity, clarity, playfulness. Welcome home. All right, hello and welcome everyone. We're so grateful that you are tuning in to us. I am Veronica and I am with my beautiful partner Kim, and we are here to explore energetics together. We are really excited to launch our podcast, and this is our introduction to energetics, which will be a key episode that will refer folks back to again and again if they want to understand what it is we're all about and what we'll be exploring here in this podcast together. So we'll start with what is energetics. I want to say energetics, what it means to us, what we expect to experience as we continue to progress through these episodes together on our podcast. So Kim, what is energetics? What does it mean to you? What does it mean to us?
So energetics, to me, it's like what's going on the inside, meaning my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions, my heart, all that kind of stuff. And so it's the energy of, and because all of that is an energy. So it's like energetics, it's awakening. I wrote it down. Cultivating and nourishing our inner energy, which is what creates our outer world, right? So how I show up. So it's how am I on the inside? And can I be okay with whatever that is? Yeah,
absolutely. So and for me, similar to what you just shared, it's really exactly the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, the ahas. It's all of the inner workings, the energy, everything that's moving through, and we'll explore all of that deeper in future episodes. But it's what is happening on the inside versus what we see on the outer. So the outer is what we experience, what we see, what we touch, our interactions, our conversations, everything that we actualize into our life that we interact with is on the outer, and then all of the the thoughts and feelings, emotions are what's on the inner. And so I have been on a long journey of exploring the inner world because it's just been a passion for me, and I know it's similar for you too, Kim, and really understanding like what is in there, what's happening, why is it happening, and how can we take leadership of it. And taking leadership of it can mean experiencing having a new experience as it relates to our interaction with our outer reality, and also can mean that as we take lead of our inner world, our inner experience, it actually can really shape and influence the experience of our outer world, and leading to manifestations and actualizations and all of that.
I love that. I love how you worded that. That's great. Yeah, because you know what? It's like what's going on in the world is going on in the world. How we be with it. How we be with it is our mastery, is our leadership, is our empowerment, and our responsibility.
Absolutely. And when we start to become aware of our inner workings, that's where we can take the lead, right? And so a lot of times, there are times in our life, or even most of our life, where we feel like we are responding to what is happening to us. It's just a response. This is what happens, and this is my response to it. Whereas imagine if we can start to take lead, if we become the leader in our life. And again, that can influence our experience and also how our life plays out. We become the artist, we become the creator, we become the healer, we become the muse of our own lives.
The magic.
And at the same time, there's an element of surrender, right? And I know we'll talk about that in future conversations as well, right? So when we take the lead, it's not that we're necessarily going to be dictating every single moment and every outcome in our life. There's an element of surrender, which is really the beauty of life, when we can find that dance between where do I take lead and where do I surrender to how life is unfolding for me and what is meant to be presented to me day by day and moment by moment.
Yeah, the tenderness.
The tenderness, yeah.
Such tenderness with ourself and where we're at on our journey. That's energetics for me, like the energy of.
I love that. And something that's really, important, I think, to know about Kim and I is we've been playing together for 2 decades plus. We've intersected and had distance and intersected again, and we'll talk about how, we'll talk about in more detail what that's looked like. One of the things that is very, very common for both of us is that we love the how. There's so many conversations that happen in the human potential, self-development world, and the concepts and the wisdoms are beautiful, and it's so wonderful to be able to really percolate on some of the nuggets that come through in those conversations. And at the same time, we're both very curious about the how. Well, what is the path? Not the how of like how come, but how do we do it? How do we experience it? What are the things that we can embody to really lead us on the path that we desire?
Yeah, what's it look like? What's it look like for me? Like I remember when I was a kid and I heard "be the change," and I was like, "Oh, that sounds, yes, I get it." How? Can someone show me how? And so that's how I was as a kid. How do I do that? And so yeah, with this lovely podcast that we're going to be that we're creating, there'll be a lot of how I do it, how you do it, how we do it different, in awareness that how I do it isn't the way it's done. It's the way I do it today, meaning that can change tomorrow, right? Because how I do it today is how I do it today. And then I might have an awareness during that process that goes, this. And so how I do it is going to be different than how you do it. And so we're just going to share what it is for us, knowing that this is just how we do it, and please take it and make it your own. Otherwise, we're not looking for followers as such. It's about hanging out with leaders too, right? Because we're all leaders. And so it's not about this is how you do it. This is how I do it. That's how Veronica does it. And let's just play there. And it's going to be different for each person. And that's the beauty of energetics and being in harmony with what is. Absolutely. It's kind of like, I bet you I make my bed different than you make yours, right? That's not how you make a bed. I'm going to make mine different than yours.
If I make it.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. There you go. Now we make our beds the same way. We don't. Sometimes they do.
Exactly. I love that you bring that out, though, because there's been, especially earlier in my journey and my exploration, I used to really think, as I tune into maybe an individual or a concept or a modality that I was following, I used to think it was like either I'm all in or I'm all out, right? If there's something I don't like about it, then I'm all out. Right. And I think that both of us have really been able to extract the gold that is relevant, that is gold to us, which will be different for everybody, and been able to take the different pieces and weave it together in our own uncovering, our own discovery. And I think that's really important for folks to consider for themselves.
Yeah. And you know what? In that, it's about how they navigate this reality, how they navigate their world with their kids, with their partners, in the work world, at the mall, at the grocery store. It's about that. It's about being it in the world, not about just doing it and being it at home like this, which that's cool too. But what if you could be it in the world? And that's what energetics is. And that's, for me, Veronica, that's how you and I have really, really learned to shine, is by being what we're learning and embodying it, but being it in the world, right? It's not to close the door, now I have to go back to my real life. No, this is your real life. Take it into your real life. Take what you learn, take who you be into your real life, not just when you're home with the door shut, but there too.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's not about crawling into the cave and locking yourself away for years, but there's beauty in that too, to your point. And we both have our own practices and processes of doing that every day, having that time in solitude. But but really the key for embodiment is like, how do I take all of it, and to your point, and in every exchange and every moment that, that we can.
And having the tenderness for self when we don't.
Yes.
Right?
Because we don't always have it. Yeah.
No.
We don't always have that awareness.
Exactly.
So what would we say we would love for people to experience, like as we move forward in this podcast?
I would say for people to and this is just coming now in this moment, I would love for people to experience what's actually true for them. Mm-hmm. What's actually true for them? The diamond of the self. What's actually true for them? Not what's true for me, not what's true for you, not what's true for that person over there, or what's on that, right? Incoming information. What's actually true for me here? So not what I'm being told is true, but the discovery is what's actually true for me here. And when I get more in touch with what's going on inside of me, then I can go, is this actually true for me? Yes, no, yes, no. Oh, I'm getting a no. Okay, cool. It might be true for that person. It might be true for you. It's not true for me. And nobody gets to be wrong. It's just not true for me in that moment. Because, hey, being open and growing and expanding and becoming more of who we truly be, what's true for me today can change tomorrow. So it's about being open to that too.
100%. And there's been so many times where both of us have been, something's been a no, and then a day or a week or a year later, it's like, okay, yeah, now it's a yes, right?
Yeah. It's not the world of you made your bed, now lie in it. Right. It's not that at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's more about like what beauty and magic is available to me today, and how is it going to unfold, and what's my dance with life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a remembering of who you really are, a remembering of your truth. Everything that we're sharing here is not, new information. It's our way of articulating the wisdom of the ages, and the modern findings within science that supports the wisdom of the ages. And so it's just a remembering, and it's just maybe a new lens of looking at of the truth that we're sharing. And so it's an awakening, a remembering of your own truth, of your own power, and your own ability to discover, uncover, refine your inner world.
And I love that you brought that up, because a lot of people, they don't know what that is. They don't even know what their own truth is. And so it's always a journey of expressing, of experiencing. And so experiencing what is my own truth, because we've been so indoctrinated, right? And so when we start to discover our own inner space, we get to become aware of what is my truth in this moment. And so we invite you all to were you going to say something?
No, I was just going to say, like, as long as we're alive, I think, every day and every moment is a further deepening of that, right? It's not a landing place. It's not like we get to a place where it's like, okay, this is our truth, and now we
boom,
move on.
and nothing else can fit at that, nothing else that matches that can come into my awareness. Because guess what? Here's what I love about showing up in the world and us doing this is again, it's allowing other people to have their own truth. Like I said, what's true for me isn't going to be true for Veronica, and vice versa. And so allowing that diversity without having to block it out or do right? It's about the allowance of, okay, cool, that's true for Veronica. Do I want to argue with her or try to change her? No, thank you. And so, the beauty and the harmony of allowing each other to have their own truth too. Without it, if it's somebody that's being abusive towards you, that's a whole different thing. That's not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And knowing what works for you and what's true for you. Well, it's not true for me to have someone be abusive towards me. Thank you. And so, different topic. So should we talk about how we would like people to show up, or are we there yet?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we can absolutely go there.
Or do we want to do a quick intro?
Or do you want to let's do intros. How about we do that?
Cool. You go.
Okay. My name is My name is Veronica, and I have, we both live in Canada. I grew up in Saskatchewan. I am approaching 50. And about 25 years ago, probably mid 20s, I started to really feel frustration. My default is frustration when things aren't going as I would like them to be. I started feeling a lot of frustration and started to explore what else might be available to me, and really started diving into the world of self-development and human potential, and started to stumble upon teachers and facilitators who were having conversations. And I initially started really in energetics, energy healing. I've been certified in a couple of different modalities. Started to explore it in both as a facilitator for others, but also really mostly for myself. And my world transformed inside, which led to some really beautiful external changes. And I just kept going deeper and deeper into that world, and really exploring emotional mastery, emotional intelligence, self-leadership, energetics and manifestation, actualization, looking at what it is that I desire in my life, and how is it that I can create it from the inside or align with it from the inside. And through that journey, I have been a student for 25 years. I have done, one-on-one facilitation with clients, and I've done a lot of group facilitation on my own and in partnerships like with Kim. I'm also in the corporate world, and I have been in the corporate world for 20 plus years, and I am a senior leader in the corporate world. And the interesting dance for me is that I feel so much aligned to Innergetics through the last 20 years, and at the same time I'm in the corporate world, and I'm fairly successful in the corporate world. So it's been this interesting dynamic where I see a lot of folks that kind of reject corporate once they start to uncover themselves in this space, and I haven't. I've really embraced my corporate life. And I don't know that it's going to be, I'll be there forever, but I've also taken everything that I've embodied in terms of, energetics and emotional mastery and leadership, and infused it into what I do day to day in the corporate world. So I'm kind of a secret agent of energetics in the corporate world. And so as I continue to explore within, my corporate career continues to elevate, and I love it, and I love both. And so I have a daughter who is 6 years old, and she is mildly special needs, and so that's been also a beautiful journey. And I'm married, and I have a beautiful social life. So that's me.
That's you, and so much more. I love, the thing about you in corporate world though, Veronica, is you actually love it. Right? And so like you have taken everything that you've learned in the spiritual world, the consciousness world, and applied it in your life. Like I said, it's not the world where I've been at retreats and people like, oh, now I have to go home to my real life. And my thing on that, my default would be like, I didn't know what they meant by that. Like, to me, it was like, aren't you going to take this into your life? And so you are such a role model and evidence of that. I really love that about you.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I watched you climb like it, right?
Yeah, from entry level, no money, in debt, right?
And not even the numbers and letters of education to get to where you got. You just played with the energy. I watched you. I was there with you. I got to experience that through you, and went, oh, look at her.
Yeah.
Right? And so we'll talk about that as we get going.
We will. Yeah.
And so for me, jeepers, I don't know how you follow that. So for me, I've been doing this kind of work, energy healing and facilitating and certifying others in the world of energetics, as well as like certifying them to be healers of all kinds of different modalities. So for me, I think I'm in 3 courses myself right now. So for me, I love, 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 love. What else is possible? What now, right? And so that's what's fun for me. So, is always, consciousness is growing and changing and expanding every day. And I'm so aware of that. That's why I said, you know what, what's true for me today can be different tomorrow. And so, yeah, I'm always in some type of new program because I love hanging out in that field. I love the energy of it. It's what brings me a lot of joy, a lot of my own inner harmony. And so, yeah, so for me, it's interesting because I thought I was an atheist because I personally did not, what was not true for me was the way that God was shown in the world, the way that we were being presented that and all the things. So because that never resonated with me, and back then, like I'm talking like way back, I'm 63. This is what year are we? 2024. Back in the 80s, late 80s, I didn't know people who were into what we now call as spirituality and consciousness, and certainly there was no availability of computer stuff for me. And so because what I was being shown didn't resonate with me, I didn't know there was another option known as spirituality or consciousness. So I thought I was an atheist because I didn't believe in what I was being shown. And so then I had one of those, I don't know what you call it, I think people call them one of those spontaneous spiritual wake-ups, right? Where here I am like a badass, right? Hanging out in all the places I was hanging out, being a badass.
Your mom would not want you to be in.
Well, she was in some of them with me.
All right. Well, most moms.
Yeah. And so, yeah, then I just literally had these wake up calls. And that, it's almost like the stuff you hear people read in books and learn about in books of these spiritual, like I went through the NDE, what people call the near death experience tunnels. I've had that was all part of my awakening. And so when I woke up like this. Like, what's happening here? And I didn't have any reference points. I didn't have like a community. I didn't have people around me who, so I became super aware, and I didn't have any community or like I said, ability to Google or search. That just wasn't available then, right? And so, but I knew that something was changing. Like I said, I was being, I don't want to say shown, because that's kind of like out there, but meaning outside of me, and it wasn't that at all. And yeah, so I just became aware of, there's more to the world than the knock on wood. I can touch my computer. Oh, there's more than that? So that's what it was. Oh, there's more? That's all I thought there was if you can see it and feel it and touch it, it's real. I didn't know there was anything else, right? I was extremely intuitive and psychic as a child, and learned how to put that away because, hey, it just wasn't normal. And and so for me, that's what got me on. And I woke up a little bit pissed off. Because, right? Because I was like, why didn't anybody tell me that this existed? Well, nobody around me knew it existed, right? And so, yeah, there was all that. And so, yeah, so since then, I just, got into this, got into that, found this, found that. And so, yeah, I live in Nova Scotia. And so, it became this thing that... So it became this thing where I started hosting people to come here so that I could learn stuff, and they would do turnkey workshops. So meaning they could let me know that they were coming. Again, didn't have access to internet and all that, so I would literally physically run posters all around the towns. And so I got into all these different types of workshops. So I got to play in all kinds of different fields and modalities and, all kinds of different things. And yeah, for me, I am that person who I can learn something today and deeply embody it and apply it. And I got my Reiki master teacher's level in 1998, and I taught my very first class the very next day.
Wow.
Right? And so I did it, and so yeah, it was, and so that's how life is for me. And yeah, so I don't wait until I think I know everything. So that's how I show up, right? Because we'll never know everything. If we wait until we think we have enough information or we know everything, guess what? We'll never put ourselves out there. And so that's what's actually true for me. And if somebody asks me something I don't know, I'll just say, I don't know, but I could make something up. Because that's true. Because a lot of times, how could I possibly know? But
exactly.
And so today I still do all kinds of different modalities and what's actually true for me. And that was fun. Now it's like, okay, next.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's not that you stop doing it, it's after a while you become it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? I don't have to do it anymore. I actually become it.
I love that about you, and you've really explored so many different modalities, and and nuggets of wisdom, and I love how you just bring it all together, and it's a continual evolution, right? And you're also really so brilliant at just sitting with something and allowing it to reveal itself to you, right? You're really, really, it's really profound. So I appreciate you, and we have, we've played together many times, so I'm super excited for what this podcast has to unfold for us. We have a lot to explore together, and a lot to share. And everyone's like Kim said, we're all leaders together, shoulder to shoulder, and just walking together.
Yep.
Coming along for the walk. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So thank you so much, everyone. Really appreciate you tuning in. We are going to be having another episode very soon, so stay tuned. And, if you could walk away with one thing today, really that what we touched on earlier about the curiosity, going through the rest of your day or the rest of your, week, really with the curiosity of, okay, what's new here for me, or how can I integrate this in a new way, or explore it in a new way, assuming that everything is there for you.
And is what's actually true for me here? Is this actually true for me? Yes, no, yes. Oh, I get a no. We don't have to figure it out. How could we figure it out? It's just a no, or it's just a yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. So much love.
Yeah.